Life, where I teach Christ-centered art journaling that gets you into God's Word every day. Good morning. I think there was a slight delay, but I just want to say good morning to everybody. Thank you all for being on, and happy Monday. Welcome to day 17 of our October Doodle a Day challenge. I hope you've been joining us every day and taking advantage of all the free doodles that I'm putting together for you guys, all the free tracers, and then following along with the demos. Good morning, Valerie. So glad to see you on. Say hello if you haven't said hi already. And we're going to go ahead and keep reading in the Sermon on the Mount, because you guys know I like to start with some scripture and then get into our doodle. Having a crazy Monday hair day, you guys. I'm sorry. I know I just look like a Monday, but that's how it works sometimes. Better hair and crazy hair than not at all, right? All right. So let's see. I want to make sure I'm not in the wrong place. We've been in chapter 6 of Matthew, and okay, I believe we're starting in verse 24. Oh, we already read through that one. So let's start in verse 27 and then end in verse 29. I think that's where we're at. Good morning, Bonnie. Hi, Mom, on Instagram. All right, we're starting in verse 27. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. I'm actually going to read the next verse as well. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Such a good reminder. Like, we have so much less to worry about than some people. We have God who's taking care of us. And if God is for us, who can be against us? Let me wave at the people on Instagram. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera around. We're going to get started on today's doodle, which has been highly demanded. Scarecrow little guy. So you guys really liked this little girl that I doodled for you guys a few weeks ago, or maybe a week or so ago, and kept requesting the guy. And since it's been highly requested, we're doing it today. So get ready. The tracer is in the description of the video if you're on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook or YouTube. And if you're on Instagram, the link to the free tracer is on my bio. You can just click that and it'll take you to a free printable PDF. So do that, get ready to go, and I'm going to flip this around for Instagram so you guys can all see what we're doing. If I can do it. There we go. So also, while I'm getting set up, we have, for today, I'm going to be using, again, my Como Rebbe Mozart watercolor set, which I really like. It tends to work really well. It has great colors. And so as I reference colors, those will be the ones I'm using, but you can really use anything you'd like to use, even colored pencils or markers or whatever you have. My cord is in the way for you Facebook people. Hi, Leslie Ann. Good morning. I'm so glad to see you on. How are you doing today? Okay, grab your tracer and cut it out. We're going to have a cute little guy. I think I actually made this little guy smaller than the girl. I'm not sure. Your tracer might end up a little bigger. I think I tried to make them close to the same size, but she might end up a little bigger than him. But today we're going to paint him in. Did I grab my watercolor paper? Aha, here it is. Okay, and if you have not cut your watercolor paper to size, just a reminder, it's a 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch square. So that's how I get it to size. Where did I put my cutter? My everything is everywhere. You guys know that we have been packing up the house, and everything is just crazy all over the place right now. But I found my tracer, or I found my cutter. Hi, Jackie. Good morning. Hello, Twyla. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. Okay, so check out all these doodles we have. We have so many, they're filling up my table. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this little, oops, let me not lose my little guy. Where did he go? Did I lose my little guy while I was trying to get my paper? Yes, I did. There he is. I'm all over the place today. All right, so I'm going to move these out of the way, and we are going to be adding turquoise into this painting today. Whoops, funk, sorry, loud noises. So if you don't have your paper cut out already, I don't, obviously, so I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to measure one side to 2.5 inches right there, and then trim that down. And then measure this one to 2.5 inches right there, and trim that down. If you don't have watercolor paper, you can use cardstock, but it won't react exactly the same way if you are using watercolors. So just keep that in mind as you're deciding what to use. You can always use colored pencils if you're using cardstock. Oh, hi. Twyla says good morning as well. And Valerie says, oh, is this a military move? No, actually, Dad is retired from the military. He's been out of the military since 2013. And this will be basically a retirement move. Jackie says, are you moving? So that's the thing. It's kind of up in the air. You guys can just pray that things go differently. Everything's really up in the air because of... I could give you guys more details, but it's kind of all up in the air because of some stuff that's happening in our world right now. And we are praying that his job doesn't get thrown out the window. Let's just put it that way. So just pray that things happen better than they are right now. And hopefully he and some other people that are being affected won't be affected. That's what we're hoping for. But at the end of the day, he was planning to retire in 2 years. And so our plan was to move to the South. And my mom's dad is in Tennessee. And so we were planning to move that direction. So we were kind of already on that track soon, but we are getting our timeline sped up way, way fast. So just pray for that. And Mom says, crazy week-long garage sale going on. Yeah, so if you know of anything you need and you're in the area, let us know. We have this yard sale that we've been doing forever. That we are going to be doing forever, all day long, all week long this week. Okay, I'm going to grab my handy-dandy graphite paper or carbon paper, whatever you like to call it. I still haven't quite figured out the difference between the two, but it's a tracing paper thingy. Whoopsies. And we're going to trace this onto our little piece of watercolor paper. I like to line my little guy up first, figure out where I want him, and I kind of want him, pretty centered up on the page, about like that. About like that. And then I'm going to slide my graphite paper underneath him and take a mechanical pencil to trace him out. Valerie says, come to Carolina. And yes, we'll be praying. Yes, thank you for the prayer. And Carolina would be nice. We have friends that live in South Carolina. And I believe we had family in South Carolina for a little while. But aren't you in North Carolina, Valerie? I can't remember. So we have a lot of family spread out all over the place. But it's just... mostly we're trying to get near my mom's dad. He's getting a little older and we want to be, more available for him. And so that was kind of the plan anyway. It just was not supposed to happen this fast, that's all. And I'm not quite ready, but we will see what happens. Okay, I'm tracing out his little hair. And remember, as you're tracing, I always say this, but trace lightly because the graphite paper does erase, or the pigment that's on it, whatever. It does erase, but it is, if you press hard, it will still leave some marks behind. So just be aware that can happen. Okay, I'm going to peek and see. And I did transfer it all. There we go. There's our little guy. So I think it's a little bright on Facebook, but as we paint him in, he will be okay. So I want to get my little girl nearby so that we can, kind of keep an eye on what she looks like and her plaid and everything that's going on in her color scheme. Maybe I put her this way so I can see. So starting off, we're just going to basically start with the same colors. And this is going to be a very light tan, and that's the brilliant yellow. I think I used brilliant yellow last time. We'll see if it comes out the same color. Brilliant yellow and actually a little bit of black to make it more gray. Her blouse underneath is more of a gray brown color, like a warm gray. So I'm going to try to match that. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper. It's getting closer. It's not there yet. I need to add a little bit more black. So basically I'm adding black to my palette and then watering it down a lot. Let's see. Okay. I might add a little bit of brown to warm it up some. That's pretty close. Well, I made it really dark now. Getting there. I'm doing like some black and brown, and that's basically, that's getting there. Okay, so black and brown, watered down a ton. And now we're going to put that on his sleeves. And we're basically just doing some base coats right now. So put that on his little shirt and his other sleeve. And he doesn't really have these little bloomer things like she does, so we're going to ignore that. And that's about it for that. Now we can kind of work on his face, which is a beige color, kind of a skin tone color. So that's a watered down orange. So now I'm going to fill in his face. Orange, maybe a little bit of tan. So we'll fill in his face. And I just went right across his nose because we can fill in his nose later. So there's his light skin tone. I'm going to use a little bit of that brown to give some shading around the outside of his face. So the brown that we used, on his blouse, I'm going to use for some shading on his face. And then come up under his hair, just so his face isn't like one flat color. I'm going to push the color kind of out toward the outside too. There we go. Teresa says, oh, Valerie says God's plans. Yes, absolutely. And Valerie says, yes, and I'm your friend. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Bonnie says, praying. Aw. Teresa says, wait, I just got on. What's this about moving? Good morning, Teresa. Yeah, so it's little by little. We haven't really like officially announced anything because we're not really sure what's going to happen. But you know, with the craziness that's in the world right now, there's a lot of people's jobs up in the air. And unfortunately, it even affects my dad's job, even though he's in a pretty stable job as far as typically the railroad is pretty stable. But you know, the world has been crazy right now. And so if things do not turn out nicely, he will have his job taken away. They will fire him. And anyway, well, we're not really sure if it'll be that way or not, but we'll see what happens. We can't really say what's exactly going to happen. It's hard to say. So anyway, just pray things turn out better. Hi, Juliet. Thanks for watching on Instagram, or Juliet Isabella. Not sure which name you go by. So anyway, pray things turn out better because as of right now, he may not have a job in December. And he was supposed to have 2 more years to retire. So we're not really sure what's going to happen right now. So just pray things turn out better and that we don't have craziness happening. But yes, we're selling the house because we don't want to get stuck with it. So we're selling the house for sure. And then I was just saying that the plan was always to eventually, once he retires, move back to Tennessee or somewhere in that area to take care of her dad and family, my mom's family. But our timeline is being sped up way too much. So anyway, it's a little bit crazy right now. We're not sure what's going to happen. So yeah. Thank you for the prayers. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, Valerie, that is true. It is a good time to sell. And I'm sure God is working things out in that direction. We probably would have not sold this early, and kind of by our hand sort of being forced. We will probably benefit from that and do better as far as being the sellers at this point. But it's still a little bit unnerving to get displaced so quickly. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's what's going on. And like I said, I don't really have a good idea of what's going to happen. But we may be out of town much sooner than I want, much sooner than I expected. It's crazy. Okay, I have not been talking about what I'm painting, but I'm adding in yellow on his hair. So he has brilliant yellow hair. It's number 3. And then I added a little bit of black for shading and a little bit of red, actually, to give it some highlights. And I'm going to use the same color to do his hands and his feet, which are hay. They're just kind of hay sticking out. So I'm going to do his hands with some little bits of yellow. And I'm using my smallest brush. This is my number 0 Liquitex liner brush. It's this big right here for those of you that want to know. Valerie, I don't know. We're hoping he hears earlier, but December 7th or 8th is kind of like a cutoff date. We're not really sure if they'll say anything to us before that. So we're hoping so, but you know. Tis the way with big companies. A lot of times they have a hard time getting to the little guy. So we'll see what happens. He has been talking to them, but it's kind of it's always hard to kind of nail things down. So we're still working on it. Okay, right now I'm adding black for shading, and then we're gonna add some of this rust red again. I just thought the rust red made the yellow not look so harsh. So I just kind of added a little tiny bit of that into the hay as well, just to give it a little bit more going on like that. That might be a little too much. You can kind of sweep it out. There we go. Just a little more, see? Yeah, but just be praying for everybody who's being, affected by everything that's going on right now. It's amazing. I have a friend who's a teacher. I have another couple friends who are nurses. And there's a lot that's going on right now that, a year ago we would have never thought that it could possibly be this severe, or that, any of this would have gone on for so long. So just pray for everybody who's trying to make tough decisions for their families and, trying to protect themselves and provide for their families, and also just be careful and all that. It's just we need an extra measure of grace and prayer all over the place right now. So much. And it's so sad because there's so much division right now, and to have people's jobs kind of uncertain at this point, it's like if we weren't already stressed out enough about possibly getting sick or whatever, to have somebody's job, like worried about their job on top of worried about being sick, is just awful. So anyway, I feel for all the people that are dealing with that, because you think it's not gonna get that bad and then it's that bad, and just gotta hunker down and figure out what to do next, I guess. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of black shading around the blouse here that he's wearing underneath, and I'm trying to match this color over here. It's not exactly the right color, but it's close. And now I'm going to work on his hat. I want his hat to be kind of the same color as hers. So I'm going to go with a light brown. This is number 52 brown. I'm going to pull that over into the palette. Oops, I might need to use my bigger brush for that. So number 52 brown. And I'm going to start with it kind of watered down and just fill this in right here. That's really watered down. And then underneath the hat as well, kind of where his hair is. And now I can grab a little bit more of that brown. Maybe even mix in some black to make it more cocoa-y colored. And then I'm going to use that that brown to darken the shadows. So up by his hair, we want that to be more of a shadow. I'm going to come up underneath there and fill that in more. Up underneath the hair here and here. And then above on his hat, we can kind of put some shadow on the left side. You notice she has some shadow on the left side of her hat as well. And I leave a little bit of a gap between the brim of the hat and the top of the hat so that that shows up a little better. Okay, and now we're going to work on his adorable little overalls, which I've been so excited to paint. Wow, that looks so bright for you guys on Facebook. I feel like I need to do that or something. Maybe I'll put a shadow like that. Is that a little better lighting wise? Maybe I should get a little closer. Come a little closer. Maybe like that. That might help some. I'm not sure. Does that help with lighting? Yeah, I almost feel like I need to totally cover it up. There's good lighting coming in through the window, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, thank you guys for the sweet prayer hands and little heart-shaped emojis. That's so sweet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get the turquoise teal. And this is azurite blue with some green mixed in and some black mixed in. And I'm just going to water it down a ton. I don't think this is helping very much, so I'm going to move that. Okay, water it down a ton. And then we're going to come in and do his little overall pants. And these are so cute. So I'm going to water them down quite a bit. I really want it to end up light like these two paintings, these ones that are a lighter teal blue. So I'm going to keep those nearby just for reference. And I'm using my medium-sized brush so that it's easy to put in a lot of color all at once. I made his pants kind of puffy. You know how they look like they're stuffed with hay. I thought that would be kind of cute. Okay, and now I'm going to come down the side of his pants with the same color, only I've grabbed it a little bit darker. And I'm going to do some shading on the left side of everything. Kind of like that. And now I'm going to take a clean wet brush and fade all of that in so it's not so harsh. And fade that into his little pocket as well. Isn't that cute? Oh, he's so cute. I like him. I do. Okay, I'm going to grab my tiniest brush, my size 0, come back in with the same color, a little bit more black mixed in, and do some more details. So I'm going to give it some dark shading on the left. And then the left of the little pocket. And the left of the pants again. And the bottom ankle. I'm going to kind of outline his shoulders and everything, and even come down the side on the right, just so that shows up well. And then we'll just fade in all those colors like that. So getting close to, these two paintings. Hi, Anita. Good morning. I'm so glad to see you. All right. Now we're going to do his little detail on his overalls. He has a little button up here by his strap, which I'm going to just use the dark blue for that. And then he also has some little pockets right here and right here. Okay, and then with that same darkest blue, Yet again, keeping on with layers and layers and layers. This one is going to be even darker, coming down the side of his overalls once again. And that's because the pockets and the buttons are so dark. I want to make sure the shading on the rest of the outfit is comparable. So I'm going to go ahead and do those somewhat dark. And you'll notice I'm not even connecting all my lines. I'm just kind of doing some quick sketches, and they don't have to be full brush strokes or full lines or anything, just enough to kind of hint at there being some color there. I feel like I want a little bit more blue in the pants, but I think I'm going to try a dry brush. So I'm going to kind of take a dry brush with a little bit of blue on it and give it some texture, just using the edge of my brush and rubbing it back and forth. And if you take your brush and you just dab it with some paint that's not very wet, you can kind of do this texture on the front of the pants. You kind of have to rub with the side of the brush. And I'm using such a small brush that it's harder to do, but it's actually working. What it does is it skips along and it gives it this kind of mottled, faded, distressed kind of look. But just be real careful that you don't mess up the paint that's already on the page. Okay. Almost there. And, oops, excuse me. Goodness. Wow. My Nana used to always sneeze 3 times in a row. That was 4, so that was pretty impressive. Wow. Goodness, made my eyes water. Okay, I'm going to fill in these pockets. I knew I had a tickle coming on. I was trying to not sneeze. Thank you, Teresa. Oh, goodness. My eyes were watering. Okay. I'm going to keep coming down the side of this one. Thank you for saying that looks nice. Thank you, Leslie Ann. Getting so many blessings. And Bonnie, thank you. 4 of them. That was amazing. It's like, wow, I can't even stop. I was trying so hard not to sneeze. I knew that was going to be loud. Okay. I'm just doing a little bit more shading on the left because I want those pants to look shaded there. And then I'm doing a little on the right, so it's kind of like the brightest part is the very front of his little overalls. Isn't it cute? Oh, sweet. Okay, now he needs a little detail on his face. So we're going to use brown and a little bit of black. See, brown and black there. And this is going to be his detail around the chin so that his chin actually has a shape. Thanks, Valerie. How perfect. I sneezed 4 times and I got 4 God bless yous. I love it. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that one got me good. All right, I'm going to take this darker brown and kind of go along the edge of his face. Okay. Make me want to sneeze again. Wow. Oh, just wipe my... Okay. Hopefully that won't happen again. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do his hat as well with the same kind of brown. We need to come back in and do the hat some more so that it sticks out, because otherwise it just looks like one big brown blob. Oh, maybe I'll do his little eyes first. Okay, so taking brown and black, this darker brown and black, I'm going to do his eyes. His little eyes are like little upside down arches, and they're really cute. And then I want to be careful with his mouth and eyes that they're nice and thin and not scary. Because we're making a scarecrow, but we're going to make a not scary scarecrow. So let me give him a little smiley face. That's pretty good. And he needs little cheeks. So, like that. Close enough. He's not exactly the same as her. His lips are a little wider, but close enough. And then we'll do his nose in that lighter orange color. So that's going to be the orange number 10 with a little bit of brown mixed in. Give him a little orange nose. And I'll let that dry before we do more detail on his nose. Okay, coming to his hat. She's going to have some brown mixed into it. Brown and black. A little bit of brown, a little bit of black, and watering it down a ton. Okay, coming along the left side of his hat, we're going to add some more shading. And I like to add the pigment and then come back in and fade it out. So, ooh, there's so much shadow right there. Okay. If you guys can't see, poke me so that you guys can see. And I will move my thing. All right, I'm just going to add this brown in as another layer of shading. And then we'll also take it and go along the edge of the hat to define it just a little bit more. Oh, and then like sneeze so much, my nose is running. Okay, and then I'm going to come around the left side and around the top side like so. So that brown is going to define that hat a little bit more. Like that. Give him a little bit more detail on his hat. And I'm going to add a little bit more black to it now. Just so that I can come in and do some smaller details. So with that darkest black, I'm going to come in the left side of the hat and the top and really just do little bits of detail along the edge of the hat to really make it pop and show up more. On the underside as well, I can do some shading like that. So you can see his hat showing up just a little bit better now. Like so. All right, and last but not least, I'm going to do the little area under his neck so that his neck is not just no color, and that's going to be skin tone as well. So like a little watered down orange with a tiny bit of brown in it, the same color as his head. And then if you'll remember, we did little stitches on her nose, so we can do those on his as well. Just be real careful with them so they're not like weird and big. They're going to be real small. 2 stitches here. Thank you for all the hearts. Thank you. That was cute on Instagram. And then 2 stitches here. And 2 stitches here. That'll make his little nose look like it's stitched. And do I need anything else? Let's look. He might need a little bit of shading on his arms. A little bit here. Just about right there, and a little bit right here. And a little bit under there, but I think that pretty much does it. So there's our little scarecrow guy and our little scarecrow girl. He is a little smaller than her, isn't he? But I think it's still really cute. So that is all we have for today. Thank you for joining me for another doodle a day. If you enjoyed that, please go ahead and try it yourself. Post it to your page and copy Artworthy Life or tag Artworthy Life. I'd love to see your finished project. And then if you would like to share it with anyone else, tag them in this video so they can see it as well, because we have free tracers and free doodles every single day, as you guys know. Thanks, Bonnie. She says, so cute. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right, and that's all we have for today. So God bless you guys. I will see you again tomorrow for another doodle a day in October. Enjoy and have a blessed Monday. Bye.